Today I didn't go anywhere, but yesterday I went to
That's not much for helping you. It's if you're asymptomatic
Well, I
and
don't
you
know.
have it to give to someone else. That's what they're saying.
That's what they're saying, but I
Yeah.
felt very secure behind that mask.
Yeah,
As long as you don't touch it, you know.
But they're
If
worried
you
about
get
that.
full body coverage, you'll feel like totally secure.
They are worried about that giving people a
I know.
false sense of security
Well,
if they still touch their
I
face.
was careful not to touch it.
And don't social distance.
Yeah, still social, yeah.
It's mostly to prevent you from
Giving it to them.
giving it to
Yeah.
someone else. Okay. Let's just do old Krishna. How about that?
You have a new singer.
Hmm?
You have a new singer. We have a new singer
Singer.
singing something.
I could listen to you every time
Yeah. I gotta make myself better.
singing your bhajan.
I need to get better.
When he sang the bhajan,
Oh, Krishna, 70s.
he sang the bhajan. Wasn't it
Going
lovely?
that way.
You
What?
didn't hear?
I'm going that way. We really have to be strict about the 6-foot thing. We really do, the 6 feet.
Are you making masks for us?
You make your own mask.
No.
You're supposed to wear a mask.
Can you give us a measuring tape?
How about, if one person in the kitchen at a time?
Bring your Halloween mask. It's just a mask.
It's probably better. You're cardboard, you know?
Yeah, he who laughs last.
Good. Let me laugh last.
Yeah?
That
Yeah.
means you're gonna die last. Everybody else is gonna.
Good thing I don't care.
You guys have poo-pooed everything I've said from the very beginning,
We're
and now
not
you're
poo-pooing
finding
you.
it's true.
We're not pooping. We're just poo-pooing the situation so we don't get stressed out.
Right, keep that immunity up.
You can't die before your time. Swami Ji's words.
Yeah, but you don't know when your time is.
Yes, sir.
Correct.
It's still on.
That's right. Neither do you.
That's right.
Oh, that's correct.
Oh, I
Coming back
forgot.
with the same kind of.
Yeah, but
And now, Pujya Atman Sri Swami Jyotirmayananda commences tonight's satsang with his Sanskrit peace chant.
Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We begin with mystic song by Sri Swami Lalitananda, played and sung by Sri Swami Umananda and Rajneesh.
Our song tonight is based on a poem by Swamiji. It's called O Krishna. O Krishna, may I dream of you, dancing with me on the grassy banks of the Yamuna River. Oh, Krishna, abide in my deepest thoughts and unspoken feelings, singing the melody of eternity. May my soul merge with you. May my waking hours be filled with the sweetness of your being. May my life go on like the Yamuna River, sparkling with your smile, merging with your divine love. In the depths of my heart, oh Krishna, may I ever abide with you. We are recording from the ashram of our revered Guru, Pujya Atman Sri Swami Jyotirmayananda in Miami, Florida. Today is April the 3rd, 2020, Friday evening, and tonight Swamiji will be lecturing on the Tulsi Ramayana. This is Series 2016, class number 199. And now Pujya Atman Sri Swami Jyotirmayananda.
Om Nilambuja Shyamal Komalangam Sita Samaropita Vama Bhagam Panau Mahasaya Charu Chapam Namami Ramam Raghuvanshanatham. Adorations to Lord Rama, whose complexion is like a blue lotus, who is very tender and delightful in appearance. Sita is seated on his left side. He is carrying powerful bow and arrow in his hands. In Ayodhya Kand, verse number 183, and flowing towards verse number 184. Here the context of the storyline, that assembly was arranged to coronate Bharata after King Dasharatha had passed away and his rituals, rites were performed, cremation rites. And all people were in agreement that Bharata should be the king, following the words of King Dasharatha. But Bharata opposed all that, but in a very gracious manner. Because all those who were saying, they were saying on the basis of being helpless. They didn't know how to face the situation. Bharata has the strength and we have already gone through that stage. Whatever Bharata said to all people, but in a very courteous manner. The end result was that they all were so inspired by Bharata's words and all felt very joyous that Bharata had the guts to say all those things. Because all had in their heart love of Rama. Behind this story, for deeper understanding, must realize historical stories are not to explore history. It's meant to understand mystical meaning. Ramayana operates through every individual. The entire story from the time of Dasharatha, being the source of Rama, Lakshmana, etc., and to the stage of Ramarajya and whatsoever you think of. The entire story operates in relation to every soul. Every soul has to go through integral yoga. Without going to much more detail in that stage, lessons to be learnt is what is bhakti, how important is bhakti, and how it should be practiced in your daily life, and how you should face challenges that obstruct your bhakti movement, and how you grow in bhakti process. First you start with immature concept of bhakti. Your evaluation, you are progressing in bhakti is immature. People, just to give you a simple way to understand, people who think they have become bhaktas, they are constantly planning how to go to visit pilgrimage centers. They tell everyone nearby, near one, because they have become bhakta and they must. I'm not discouraging that. The idea is there are different levels of bhakti. And each level has its own blessings. Then there is a level of bhakti where you relate yourself with certain deity and you have experiences of the deity. The deity tells you, do certain austerities and say, for example, Lakshmi Devi tells you, do austerities and adore Saraswati Devi. Saraswati Devi tells you, adore Rama. I'm talking to a different audience. So, in your bhakti movement, you are progressing but in early stage. And you can understand many more details. But every step you take in bhakti is the most gracious development in your personality. And it enhances all your practice of yoga and allows your life to be purposeful. If bhakti is lacking, you will have no shakti, no strength to face challenges and forget about mukti or liberation. Now therefore, turn your attention to Bharata's personality. He is bhakti movement personified. And see what challenges he has to face. And how does he face them? And what is the result when he faces them? And how many people are benefited by it. माति सचिव गुरुपुर नर नारी सकल स्नेह विकल भय भारी. When Bharata convinced them all that he must go to see Rama, then all those who were advising Bharata not to be the king, they became, their heart was touched by Bharata's statement, and they spoke out of their heart that Bharata is the very embodiment of love of Rama. तात भरत अस काहे न कहू प्राण समान राम प्रिय आहू. And a majority voice came from the assembly. Oh, beloved Bharata, it is appropriate, it is worth your personality, what you have expressed. You are as beloved of Rama as a life is to any person. Rama is your very life. जो पावरु अपनी जड़ताई तुम्हें सुगाई मात पुटलाई. All those who do not see you as a divine, gracious, inspiring personality, beloved of Rama, all those who don't have that view, rather they hold on to the idea that somehow you have been conspiring along with your mother against Rama. Those who view that way, what will happen? So satu kotik parpurush sameta basihi kalap sat narak niketa. That wicked soul, dusht, along with millions of souls, near and dear ones, will rot in hell. How long? Kalapsat. One kalpa itself is millions of years. Sat kalpa means hundreds of those kalpas, implying there is no limit of time. So long, what will they do? They will stay rotting in hell. Simple way of saying, if you don't have bhakti, you will not get mukti. So, if you don't get bhakti and you don't get mukti, what do? You stay in the world, suffering from all the worldly troubles. And that's the whole world process, and whatever it gives you, even the illusion of pleasure and pain, all that is for a mature mind. All this is hell compared to the aspiration for liberation, the desire for staying in the world with a lofty profession. And that personality is called dusht, who moved away from the movement, digesting the Dhamma, controlling the mind and senses. Daya, charity. No, Dan. Next comes Dan. Dan, charity. Daya, compassion. Three great virtues. They are implied by the letter Da. And you hear that karma coming when you take prasad, Da is there. And different negative qualities that restrict your soul from attaining liberation, they are called 8 negative qualities that make the soul pashu, animal. So, if you have those negative qualities that take your movement away from the movement, and you go along with it, then you become dusht. The Da in you is being obstructed by the 8 negative qualities. And that's the reality of practical world without sadhana. अवसि चलिय बन राम जहाँ भरत मंत्र बलक बलकीन शोक सिंधु बूढ़स सबहि तुम अवलंबनु दीन. Oh, great Bharata! Indeed, you must go to Rama. Your view is perfectly in order. Rather, we all who have been drowning in the ocean of grief, in brief, we have become the best support. The very same people who were advising him, now they are all praising Bharata. The Bharata gives them hope. Because what their intention is that since Bharata will be going, they will be also going along with him. भा सबके मन मधु मोदु न थोरा जनु धन धुनि सुनि चातक मोरा जनु घन धुनि सुनि चातक मोरा. Their mind was filled with joy, the joy that can be allegorically described as the joy experienced by peacocks and certain other birds when they look at the clouds coming to bring shower of rain. So that type of a joyous vision brought an internal thrill in the heart of all people. मुनि बंदी भरतहि सिरुनाई चले सकल घर विदा कराई. And all those people, because the whole session had come to conclusion, so they started departing to go to their homes, and they did so by offering their adorations to Vasishtha and bowing down to Bharata. And while they go, they are all praising Bharata. That his life is indeed blessed. He is the very embodiment of gentleness, compassion, goodness of the heart. कहीं परस्पर भा बड़ काजू सकल चलय कर साजहि साजू. And they, talking among themselves, they said that let's all begin to prepare to follow Bharata to meet Rama. And in doing so, some people had to come to stay back, protecting the property or whatever, so all needed responsibilities. But those who were to stay back, they felt miserable, as if someone had crushed on their neck, banged the neck, crushing manner. को कह रहन कहिए नहीं काहू को न चाहे जग जीवन लाहू. And some said, don't hold anyone back to take care of the house and property, etc. May we all go, one and all. No one left behind. जरौ सो संपत्ति सदन सुख सुहृद मातु पितु भाई सन्मुख होत जो राम पद करे न सहस सहाय. And in this context, Tulsidas certainly puts a very powerful statement. And the statement is coming through their mouth, but ultimately it's from the heart of Tulsidas. And more ultimately, this is the insight into bhakti, devotional movement. And what the statement is, that sampatti, all the prosperity you have is called sampatti. Your house, your objects of pleasure, all your happiness that you receive from different sources, your friends, your parents, your brothers, all your near and dear ones, if they do not aid a bhakta, a devotee, with a joyous heart to succeed in the project of meeting Rama, may they all be burnt up. And behind that, simple truth is there. Real good you do to anyone, sabko sanmati de Bhagavan. By promoting sanmati, right understanding in the heart of the person. And right understanding develops, that means you begin to live your life purposefully, which means you begin to practice integral yoga in your daily life, which means you highlight love of Rama, love of God. Love of God is the key behind success in all your practices. And it is that love that brings real flavor in all your worldly relations. If that love is not there, you are living in a miserable way. And of course, devoid of bhakti, where will you go? You continue with the world process, the disease of cycle of birth and death. There are endless cycles. So in all relations, always keep your mind focused on love of God. And it is on that basis, deal with people with philosophy of adapt, adjust. You have to be very careful not to hurt people. And there lies your skill. Help people. Help in such a way that you are not encouraging people to follow their whims, but encouraging them, inspiring them, strengthening them to pursue the path of spiritual progress. घर घर साजहि बाहन नाना हर्षु हृदय पर भात सपयाना. In storyline, they all began to prepare their vehicles, different type of vehicles, to go with Bharata to the project of meeting Rama. And their heart is filled with joy that with the rising of the sun, when the sun begins to rise with the first rays, they will begin their journey. Bharata also began to prepare for that trip. Of course, it was Bharata was the central personality. But he began to, what people say, put the ducks in a row for any project. Now Bharata began to look at the whole project, and first his mind went, all the treasures of Ayodhya, even horses, elephants, treasury, palaces, all these have to be protected while people go on this trip. Sampati sab raghupati kai ahi, jaun binu jatan chalaun taji tahi. All this is divine wealth. We must put all this in protection, in proper order. And then go to Rama. If you don't do that, to parinam namori bhalai, papa shiromani sai so dohai. Because all this property is Rama's property. And if you ignore the protection of the property, you cannot expect to receive Rama's blessings or grace. Bharata says, I will be considered crest jewel of sinners. Try to understand now our broad way, profound way. If in the name of bhakti, you don't look after your physical health, you put your house under turmoil, and your daily life has no order in it, and go on saying bhakti, bhakti, Ram, 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 that's all. That's not the picture of real devotee. What right have you to misuse all that is God's property? Everything must be maintained with skill, order, and graceful respect. In the name of bhakti, you should not lose practicality of your life. Practicality of your life is a part of bhakti. Because the practical realities, they are not your possessions. God has created you. God has created your brain. Don't affect the brain by putting a brick on your head. God has given you your body with nervous system, with the operation of pranas. See that all this is kept in order. Then your love for God will have real vitality. Otherwise, it will be just palabra, just word, vain. This point is very important to understand. Otherwise, in the name of spirituality, people suddenly begin to break away from all practical realities of the world. And especially ignoring their own physical and mental health. If you don't have physical and mental health, you have destroyed the very foundation of your spiritual progress. Karai Swami hita sevaka soi, dushan koti dei kin koi. And in so doing, if people criticize you, condemn you. You should not be affected by it. He is the real servant of Rama, who serves Rama in spite of being insulted, in spite of facing countless challenges. अस बिचारी सुचि सेवक बोले, ये सपने हूँ निज धर्म न डोले. Having thus ascertained within his mind, Bharata gave instructions to all those who were his attendants or royal servants, who were very trustworthy. Bharata secured them with their different duties, how to protect all the property, etc. of Rama. In brief, Bharata departs, not keeping the Ayodhya desolate, but Ayodhya is being protected by professional personalities. And then he departs. Your bhakti movement requires your karma, your dhyana, your jnana, all these put in order. And then focus on the project of uniting with Rama. And each project requires its own practical realities. For physical body, you have to have sattvic food. For your general pranic control, you have to have yoga exercises, pranayams. And for many changes that have to develop in your body and mind, you have to have insight into Kundalini Yoga. All these are part of bhakti. Then your bhakti will be real. Otherwise, you have a disturbed personality living in an atmosphere of disharmony and bitterness, and then asserting within yourself, Siya Ram, my subject. Oh, this is God. With a headache, with aches and pains, and we are starting. You must realize I'm giving some highlighted points. That doesn't mean that anyone who is doing bhakti while the body is aching, or you are suffering from certain disease, or all that part of, because that you should not promote it, but if it has come, you face it and do everything possible to correct it. But behind all that, be always with the understanding that God is the one who is making you instrument in doing all this. The big source behind your inspiration, even the desire to make yourself healthy is proceeding from God. कही सब मरम धर्म भल भाषा जो जही लायक सो तही राखा. Thus, he engaged people according to their capacities, according to their professional abilities. And having secured Ayodhya and all the kingdom-based power, prosperity, having secured all that, Rama then goes to his mother, Kaushalya. His mother, Kaushalya is mother of mothers. That's in a storyline. आरत जननी जानी सब भरत स्नेह सुजान कहे बनावन पालकी सजन सुखासन जान. Bharata himself is described as embodiment of divine love. He goes and he sees mothers, they are in distress. He told them what has happened, that of course they all knew that Bharata is planning to go to meet Rama, and Bharata says to them that let's prepare for the journey. And in those days palanquins were used. Let the palakis, what's termed as palanquins, let all the palanquins be arranged so that all of you come. Chakka chakki chimi puranar nari chahata prata ur arata bhari. The night they passed was just like certain birds called chakwa chakai. They wait to see moon. And moon brings thrill in their heart. All of them, simile is adopted, all those people in Ayodhya, especially the mothers and people of the royal palace, they spent the night in that type of a suspense. When will the sun shine? When will the sun shine? We start on a wonderful journey to behold Rama. कहेउ लेहु सब तिलक समाजू बनहि देव मुनि राम ही राजू. One step back. जागत सब निशि भयउ बिहाना भरत बोलाए सचिव सुजाना. Night passed. Very early morning, Bharata called all the ministers. कहेउ लेहु सब तिलक समाजू बनहि देव मुनि राम ही राजू. And he instructed them to bring all things needed for coronating Rama, for performing coronation ceremony, even in the forest, and then bring him back into Ayodhya. And he said to them, in the forest, Vasishtha Muni will perform the coronation ceremony. And the mantris, all these attendants and ministers, they bowed before Bharata and immediately arranged horses, chariots, elephants for the trip. Arundhati aru agini samau, ras chari chale pasama muni rau. First one to commence the journey is Vasishtha, Sage Vasishtha, Guru, his wife Arundhati, and all the ritualistic materials needed for coronation ceremony. All together in one big chariot that was for Vasishtha. Viprabrinda chari bahana nana, chale sakal saptapateja nidhana. And this was followed by all the Brahmins who were endowed with a mystic effulgence because of their tapasya, austerity, and because of their spiritual strength. And they used their different vehicles. Nagar log sab saj saji jana, chitrakoot kahan kinna pavaya payana. And now followed all the citizens, not all those who were going from Ayodhya in their different chariots and vehicles. They all made themselves ready to go to Chitrakoot. That's where Rama was there at that time. All this cannot be described. It's indescribable, the whole scene. All the queens went in their beautiful palakis, palanquins. Saupi nagar suchi sevakani, sadar sakal chalai, sumiri ramasya charan tab, chale bharata dau bhai. So having arranged the maintenance of Ayodhya, and all those who were meant to look after Ayodhya, they had to return, having bowed before Bharata and in a very gracious way. And having turned their mind to Sita and Ram, Bharata, along with his brother Shatrugna, started the journey. Ram daras bas sab nar nari, janu kari karinik chale takivari. All men and women who were in this process of going to meet Rama, they were all feeling so thrilled. You are just like looking at an ocean of elephants. He elephants, she elephants. All going after drinking water from a mystic lake. And that's what it appeared. Gajagabini. That also I have pointed out before. On one side it gives you a very quick cartoon type of picture, elephant. Another side, elephant is called Gaja, the movement that terminates the cycle of birth and death. And what that implies? You are being involved in integral practice, with bhakti being the inspiring source. बनसिय राम समुझ मन माही सानुज भरत पया दही जाही. Bharata and Shatrugna, they commence their journey, remembering that Rama and Lakshmana and Sita, they didn't use any chariot in the forest. So they decided to go without any vehicle. Their movement by foot. देखी सनेहु लोग अनुरागे उतरी चले है गैर सत्यागे. But this is a preparatory stage that also is being given in a subtle way. Now people, when they saw Bharata leaving the chariot and just going on foot, they all started coming out of their chariots to follow the illustration of Bharata. Ramami jai sami paraki nij doli, Ram matu mrit bani boli. Immediately when Kaushalya Devi saw, she went to Bharata. Her palaki came close to Bharata, and she said in her soft voice, तात चढ़हु रथ बलि महितारी, होई प्रिय परिवार दुखारी. O child, O my son, dear son, the mother with great love pleads that you get into the chariot. If you don't do, look, all these people are going to suffer. And all of them are already emaciated because of all this pain, and they are not fit to travel on foot. What does it imply? If you followed path of devotion, do not give an example of meaningless austerity. Generally, that's the tendency of immature sannyasins. Whenever they have to, they wear wonderful clothes, etc., but whenever they have to take a trip, they put on a cloth that has been for 7 years, and minimum dressing for the body, and a maximum show of austerity. The devotee has to be, do your austerity, but keep it secret to yourself. Don't make a show out of it. If your practice of devotion, it creates commotion in people, it's giving a wrong type of example, taking their happiness and comfort, and their movement is not in a right way, then in the name of spirituality, you are actually doing something very negative. All this subtle point is involved in these things. And Kaushalya Devi told this. Remember, Kaushalya is spirit of skill. In every project, in every sadhana, skill is needed. So in the divine sadhana of attaining liberation, skill is needed. What you should do internally for yourself, that you move on without waiting for others. But do not impose on others while you are yourself not practicing it. Do not live that type of life that is meant only to impress others. And even if you are living right type of life, and it is giving a wrong impression to others, hide your austerity. A little lying is perfectly good. Deal with children, and you want them to take something nourishing, and you don't need it. But when you are in their company, put that thing first in your own mouth and say how wonderful it tastes. Now the children will follow. Mummy, mummy, give us. That's a simple illustration. With this we conclude. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukuma Bandhanan Prityor Mukshiyamamritat Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyant Ma Kashchid Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat.
Does anyone have any questions for Swamiji? Vani, speak up.
Pranam-Guruji. I have a few questions tonight. First one, can the four folds of the mind be applied to name and form? For example, Lord Shiva, can you apply Buddhi, Chitta to, but it would be obviously in a more evolved way of the God. If we were to
When you are applying your mind, all the four aspects of mind are involved. But in your conscious practice, you don't worry about which is. The subtle ones are in. Say for example, you are watching the deity, your eyes are involved. But when you close your eyes, your antahakarana becomes involved. Your mind is bringing imagination of the picture of the deity. Your buddhi, your intellect is bringing the attributes of the deity. Your ego is giving the intention behind this. Why are you practicing it? And your chitta is providing those impressions that you have already gathered from before, giving you the memory. All that becomes involved in your sadhana. So they don't sit down and say, Aham Chitta, look, Nami, Antakarana, Aham. They are all together in automatics.
And is Agnihotra is bhakti, is another way of saying bhakti. Or can you say that? The fire, continuous fire.
if you are talking to mature people, otherwise they will consider you a dullwit. Agnihotra is a ritual performance where put oblations into fire. For any ceremony, Agnihotra is done. There are so many samskaras are done for sacred thread, for marriage, for being a student, and each time Agnihotra is done. But Agnihotra is symbolic of, remember in Uttarayana, the first step is called Agni. Agni, Jyoti, Aha, Shukla. The very opening into a path that will lead you to liberation. That opening aspect is described as Agni. Agni, which in practice implies mind begins to understand your goal is not in the world. The world attainment is shallow, illusory. In simple word, Vairagya. Vairagya is Agni. If you have developed Vairagya, you have attained the purpose of Agnihotra. And whatever is leading to develop Vairagya is real Agnihotra. That's subtle point. But this does not stop the need of ritual. Ritual is the one that draws people. Yeah.
I love it. But this last question, the sannyas, young sannyas. But I thought it was beautiful. Bart did not take the chariot. I thought it was very powerful.
Mhm.
But
But he was in a type of association where so many people were looking up to him.
so they would not understand.
So, just like people have invited so many for festivity, a feast, and you are interested in having your meditation first. So you don't sit down there in front of them in meditation. And spoil their fun. Okay?
Any more questions? Well, we thank Swamiji for the prasad he brought tonight. And our classes will continue in a very spaced out manner. And we appreciate the fact that many people are enjoying Swamiji's lectures from the website online. And so we conclude.